Casino Guitars, lessons with yours truly. Yeah, it's been fun doing these. Thank you guys for tuning in. The slide one was a ton of fun last week. We got another one this week that comes from a comment. Somebody asked in one of the videos about what was going on with my picking technique, that it looked sort of odd. And so I thought we would talk about it and maybe talk about one of the little, it started out as a little exercise thing that I would do for hybrid picking, and it just turned into a lick I like to use, and it has become a part of my style. So maybe it will be helpful for you guys. I'm assuming you know what hybrid picking is. Obviously it is using your pick like you would normally, and some combination of your other fingers. I tend to mostly use my pick and my middle finger like that, like you saw me doing when I was just messing around in the intro. But the thing I want to do today is just a way to kind of get yourself moving around in that. And then if you dig it and you like the way it sounds, you can actually use it to put some licks and some different things together. So I'm working out of the D major scale, essentially, down on the 10th fret. If you are following along, that is starting with your pinky. And if you wanted to, you could put the whole sort of B minor thing in there, and you could start on the top string and go 7, 9, but 10 is really the D. And then on the A string, it's going to be the same thing, 7, 9, 10. D string, 7, 9. G string is going to be 6, 7, 9. B string is going to be 7, 6, 10. And then high E string, just like the low E string, is going to be, again, 7, 9, 10. So there's the whole thing. Now that should be pretty familiar to most of you, and it's sitting right there with your, what you'd call maybe B minor pentatonic or D major pentatonic. That's a really familiar shape. Pretty much every lesson we've done so far, we've talked about that one. But instead of just playing through it, I'm gonna have, what I'd call like a pedal tone or drone that I'm gonna use the hybrid picking to hit in between every other note. Maybe not every other note, but for the exercise, every other note that I play. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start off, instead of just playing, a lick like if I was doing a descending thing there. Instead of playing the scale like that, I'm gonna keep my pinky I'm gonna start with my pinky on 10 on the high E string. I'm gonna keep my first finger on the D on the G string, which is gonna be the 7th fret, and I'm gonna play through that scale. But between every single note, I'm gonna play the D on the G string. So my pick's gonna hit the D on the G string, 7th fret. My middle finger is gonna hit the 10 over here. By the way, I skipped it in the intro. This is the limited 1954 custom shop Strat. So awesome guitar, still using the Tone Master. This is the chicken picking preset number 14 on the factory presets, just so you know. But anyways, back to the exercise. So hitting 10 with my pinky, hitting 7 on the G string with my pick, and I'm actually gonna start with my pick. So I'm gonna play that low note or lowish note on the G string, and then play the 10 with my middle finger. And then I'm just gonna start repeating that, but I'm gonna walk back on the scale. So now I'm gonna play 7 with my pick again on the G string, and then I'm using my ring finger. You can do this however you want. Doing 9 right there on that finger, with my ring finger on the high E string. So, and then I'm going both notes on the 7th fret, and I'm just using this finger to bar. So it's 7 on the G, 7 on the high E, and every time, pick, middle finger on my right hand, pick, middle finger, pick, middle finger. Now I'm just moving up with my middle finger to the B string, and I'm doing the same thing. So 7 on the D, pick with my, or middle finger with my pinky on the 10th fret. Moving up the scale, now I'm to the 8th fret on my middle finger on the B string. Both back to 7 again. And then right here, I kind of change it just to make it rhythmically work. I just go 7, 9, 7. And you can play it as a chord. You can end it right there on the 9 if you want to. You can repeat it. And all that is just, like I said, use that as an exercise, but it's a pretty cool basis for a lick if you want it. You know what I mean? And I think when you start to practice things like that with hybrid picking, the hybrid picking sort of sneaks its way into a lot of your playing, which makes for some interesting lines where it's not just going up and down the scale. You're finding ways to play other notes that are non-adjacent, non-adjacent strings, and it opens up different intervals, right? Another good thing about this exercise is you could think about the intervals when you play it. You could actually be thinking, if you wanted to, there's the 1, the D on the 7th fret in this case, the octave, the 7, the 6, the 5, the 4, the 3, the 2, 1. That's a good way to train your ear. Start to hear, a 5th, 4th, 3rd, a major 7, flat 7. You can do that too, and it's really good practice. Now, that in and of itself is a great exercise. But if you then pivot and take your pinky and leave it on the D on the high E string, and I like to start from the 9 when I do this, then you can switch where before your pick was playing the stationary note every time and your middle finger was moving up the scale with the strings. Now you can flip-flop it, and you can go middle finger on the D on the 10th fret on the high E string, and then play with your pick. So it would be like 10, then up on the G string, 9, 10, 7, 10 with your finger, 6 with your first finger, and then walk up the scale that way. So you can go the whole scale, or you can get to maybe like the F sharp right there, and then right back to your D on the 7th fret. So that might sound something like this. You can play around with that as well, However you want to do it. But you just want to find ways and play them as exercises. I like to string them together. You're essentially just going through 2 octaves of the D major scale, but you're doing it with the hybrid picking, and it's changing. Like I said, you're going from where your middle finger, the finger you're doing the hybrid picking with, is sort of following the scale, to where your pick is following the scale and your finger's stationary. But it makes for some really cool sounding licks, and it's a great contrast to when you're just trying to pick. And it gives you a little bit, even if you're not, a great chicken picker, you're not playing great country licks, it gives you a little bit of that chicken pick thing. You heard me do it in the intro with the 6ths, on the D major thing. I don't know if you're familiar with that. That's just, I went, that's pretty much outlining a D chord in 6ths. It's 11 and 10 on the G and the high E, then 12 and 12, 14 and 14. I did it backwards. You can make it chromatic. But that's another great, maybe that's another lesson, but that's another great way to use the hybrid picking thing, so your pick's not having to go. And it's a great way to add speed where you don't necessarily have to be a great alternate picker to do that pretty fast. It just makes for interesting licks. So again, if we're going through the whole thing, starting on 7, 10, and we're just alternating. Pick, middle finger. Pick, middle finger, right up the scale. Then you can switch. So that is if you're looking at my right hand, and I do pick strangely sometimes, that's a big part of my playing style. Maybe that's helpful for you. Maybe it's not. Probably can glean something from it, even if you don't want to play those exact licks that I'm doing. And like I said, I think once that gets under your fingers, it kind of becomes part of that muscle memory. So hopefully that is helpful. Let me know in the comments what you think. Let me know how you guys are using that. Maybe you're doing cool things with hybrid picking. Don't forget to hit like, don't forget to hit subscribe, and of course the bell. There's our road to 100,000 that's going on right now. Live streams are every Wednesday mornings where we're doing the giveaways. This month's giveaway is actually a 50th anniversary GS Mini, so you don't want to miss out on that. You have to make sure you're subscribed, and you got to comment on the videos for us to put your name in the randomizer and give you a shot at winning that guitar. Lots more prizes though. We're going to do it every month until we hit 100K. So share the videos, do all the things that help us. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate you guys hanging out. More lesson videos to come. Have a fantastic day. We'll see you next time.